I'm Jordan Belfort, and this is Sales School. All right, so if you're a business owner, do not let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud-based business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, inventory, and more. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/school. I want to put all of this together for you in one cohesive pattern. This is your first loop, right? So it starts when you get hit with the first objection, right? That objection could be anything. Let me think about it. Let me call you back. I already deal with your competitor. Bad time of year, whatever that might be. You're always going to handle that by deflecting it first, which means you're going to say, I hear what you're saying. I understand that. Let me ask you a question. Is the idea, the program, do you like the program? Does it make sense to you? Do you like the idea? In other words, you're going to say, I hear what you're saying. We're still in rapport. But let me ask you this. Do you see what I see? Does the idea make sense to you? And what that really is tantamount to is the first 10. Do you like the first 10? And they're going to respond and say, yeah, it sounds pretty good. And at that point, again, we know that they're not at a 10 on the certainty scale. If they were, they'd say, oh my God, yeah, it sounds amazing. It's unbelievable. It's the best thing in the world. They don't say that. They say, yeah, it sounds pretty good. It's like a 5.5 or 6. So they might say, yeah, it sounds pretty good. They're at a 7, 7.5. Or they might say, yeah, it sounds all right. They're at a 4.5. But at least you know where they are now. You know they're somewhere. And your goal now is to what? Move them up to as close to a 10 as possible on the certainty scale for the first 10. So that we do that is how? We fill in the blanks to our airtight logical case. So that means we already had the second pattern, our follow-up pattern ready. That hooks on essentially to our initial presentation, picks up where it left off, fills in the missing blanks. The metaphor I used last time was that, imagine you've built this house, you laid the foundation, put up the frame, you have the drywall outside, you put the roof on top, you have a coat of paint. Well, now you're going to install the plumbing, the electric, and all the different things that actually make the house the house. You're filling in the missing pieces to make it, wow, like I get it. This makes sense. That's a house, or this program's awesome. So the way we do that is say, so when I get their level of certainty, say, yeah, it sounds pretty good. I say, exactly. It really is a great program. I mirror back their own level of certainty. They say, yeah, it sounds pretty good. I'm like, exactly. So I'll sound more certain myself. If they say, yeah, it sounds okay, I say, exactly. So I always enter their world where they are. And now I'm going to give them that first pattern now, my first looping pattern. I'll say, exactly. In fact, the true beauty is, and then I'm going to have a pattern written out saying it's also got XYZ benefit. And it does also this, this, and that. I'm going to actually have that pattern written out. And as I deliver that pattern tonally, I'm going to keep getting a bit more positive, a bit more certain. So by the time I'm approaching the halfway point, I've reached peak certainty in my tone of voice. And I maintain that certainty all the way to the end of that pattern. And when I finish essentially reselling that first 10, I always end it by saying, you see what I'm saying now? Now do you follow me? In other words, my tone, now you get it? Like, I understand you weren't that certain before. You see what I'm saying? Now do you follow me? That's what I'm accomplishing. And they'll say, oh, no, yeah, it's great. I say, exactly. It really is a phenomenal idea. And by doing that, I've now raised up their level of certainty for the first 10 logically through the words I've said. I've made this incredible airtight logical case. I used my tonality, that pace, lead, to move them emotionally. So they're feeling, yeah, wow, it really is. I get them excited. It's like, wow, yeah, it's a great idea. I say, exactly. And now I transition to my second 10 using the Forrest Gump pattern. I say, John, let me ask you this. If I've been working with you for the last 3 or 4 years, making you money on a consistent basis, or, getting you insurance on a consistent basis, selling you homes on a consistent basis. If I've been selling you cars, if I've been your car guy for the last 5 years, doesn't matter, if I've been your logistics broker, your pharmaceutical guy, your whatever guy for the last 3 or 4 years, you probably wouldn't be saying, let me think about it, Jordan. You'd be saying, just absolutely, let's get started right now. Am I right? And when you say that, 99 out of 100 times they'll say, yeah, well, then I would. Because what you're saying is true. What you've done now is you've really broken it down. So I understand you love the idea, but you don't know me. And since you don't know me, you really have no basis for trusting me. It's a very rational thing. So you've reframed what their objection was. They start off saying, let me think about it. And now you've got them to say, without breaking rapport, which is important, right? You've got them to say, wow, I love your idea. It's great, but I just don't know you. That's the purpose of this loop. So I've said, yeah, they say, yeah, I love the idea. I say, exactly. It really is a great program. In fact, let me ask you this. If I'd been your XYZ guy for the last 3 or 4 years, and every deal I put you to, one after the next, every one was a grand slam home run, you probably wouldn't be saying, let me think about it. Am I right? And they'll say again, yeah, well, of course, then I would. And for those rare birds that try to say, well, no, that's not really true, Jordan, I'm going to come at them hard with everything I got. I'll say, wait a second, John, you mean to tell me that if I'd shown you winner after winner after winner, everything I told you worked out perfectly, and now I came to you with this opportunity, you wouldn't be saying, let's get started on come on, John, honestly. And if you say it like that, I'll say, oh, yeah, well, then I would. And you say, exactly. So either way, you always end up in the same spot, which is exactly. Now that I can understand. You don't know me. I don't have a track record with you right now. And then you say, let me take a moment to reintroduce myself. And now you run your Forrest Gump pattern. You say, again, my name is Jordan Belfort. I'm a senior vice president, or whatever your title is. I pride myself on this and that, whatever your credentials are, what your values are, how hard you work for your clients, what you've done for other people just like them. You're going to hold their hand every step of the way. You'll be there for the long term. So whatever the particulars are to the product you're selling, the role you're playing, the credentials that you have, you're going to develop that airtight, beautiful Forrest Gump pattern. And then when you're done talking about, how wonderful and trustworthy you are, you're not going to ask for the order because you still have that third 10 to go. The company, you're going to say, and by the way, as far as my company goes, XYZ company, they are the number one providers of, and then you're going to resell the company with that pattern that hooks onto the Forrest Gump pattern. And you're going to highlight all the features and benefits and the reputation of your company, why you're the best company out there, the biggest, the best, most well-respected, whatever the facts are. Good corporate citizen, blah, 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 great reputation, customer service, highest satisfaction score, whatever it may be true about your particular company. And then when you're done with that, you're going to come into a smooth landing where you say, so John, why don't we do this? Let's get started right now. Again, it's only a cash outlay of, and then you go into your closing pattern, which is going to always end with you asking for the order now for the second time. So the first time you asked for the order was when you got hit with an objection. You deflected this initial objection. You loop back. You resell the 310s, and now you come in for this soft landing, not like, and John, believe me, you're saying, John, and believe me, you're going to be really glad you did this. Sound good? And then you shut up. That is your first loop. You sold all 310s. It always starts, every loop starts with getting hit with a common objection. You then, in the first one, you deflect it. After that, you'll start answering objections using rebuttals that we give you, right? But it always starts by answering that objection, looping back, reselling the 310s, and then moving slowly but surely down the straight line and having a safe landing with a basic tritonal pattern as you close. Simple as that. All right, now, here's the deal. Depending on what you're selling, there's going to be slight variations to how you actually deploy this in the real world. So in some cases, it might fit perfectly where, those questions, those 3 questions in sequence like that will work just like a charm. In other situations, like if you're selling a car, you're not going to say, so does the car make sense to you? So you got to be smart here. You say, hey, so what do you think? Do you like the car? What do you think? Does it meet your needs? So depending on what you're selling, you're going to have to adopt and modify these patterns. But it's really easy to do. Remember, with the straight line system, we're always being flexible. There's this overriding, principle that If it doesn't sound right, don't say it. Like if it's just stupid because of what you're selling doesn't quite fit into the mold, just adapt it a bit. Pivot a little bit and use the straight line. You're hitting those 3 10s. It's crucial that all 3 10s get hit, and you always end by asking for the order in no uncertain terms. You don't dance around. You don't just say, well, what do you know? Say, here's what you should do. And then you tell them what they should be doing to get started, because that's what experts do.